Today, boys, we are talking about Halo Reach. I still remember the first time I played Halo Reach. I was playing Halo 3 at my old college apartment. I was currently in my bedroom while my other two friends were in the living room playing the new Halo game, Halo Reach. And they would shout to me from the living room, "Aztecross, come play this game," they would say. But I sat in that room and I played Halo 3 religiously. I held out for maybe, 2-3 days before finally, on my way to get some food, I noticed one of them use an ability. And yes, it was armor lock. My friend proceeded to block a hammer to the face, come out of the armor lock ability, and punch the other guy to death. At this moment, I was very torn. On one side, I had the most competitive shooter, the game that has set the bar, Halo 3. And on this other side, I had this really chaotic looking game, one that introduced a lot of cool things, but a lot of things that can really break the mold of what we know, on top of Bloom, which we're not gonna get into. Bungie be like it's a Bloom, man. So I sat down on our little futon, a little cramped, but my friend handed me his controller and I began to play. And before I knew it, Halo 3 was ejected from my Xbox 360 and in its place was Halo Reach. Some would say this was a betrayal, but I continued for thousands of hours after that point. If it felt like betrayal, it was only at first, because I was in love with the new twist on Halo. Now, being a Destiny player and covering Destiny, going back and playing Halo Reach, especially on PC, number one, you can definitely tell that Destiny 1's engine was pretty much the same. Matter of fact, everything that was created inside of Halo Reach was actually created to make Destiny 1. And we heard that before, but it's one thing to hear that from a developer and it's another thing to experience it. Now here in 2019, we're going back in time. We're playing Halo Reach on PC and we've been playing Destiny for a long time on PC. Does Halo Reach have what it takes to hang with modern games? First up, understand guys, I want to come into this completely unbiased, but my God, every single map we were loading into, I was a kid again. I was that kid skipping class for the 20th time just to play one more game of Halo Reach. Now Halo Reach, nothing has really changed about this game in terms of what it was in its inception. Obviously armor lock isn't as broken as it was in the very beginning, but all of the abilities are the same: jetpack, camouflage, sprint, armor lock, hologram. At least to my knowledge, all of these abilities still work the same way. All of the weapons still work the same way. And they're all in the same exact places as I remember it. That sword that's in that little cubby, still there. That shotgun that's tucked away behind the map, still there. That sniper that's leaning up against that wall, it is still there. And for a returning player that has not actively played Halo in years, coming back to this game with everything essentially being the same, yes, I had to pinch myself, man. I didn't know what year I was in. It wasn't until my son came into my room that I was like, ah, shit, I'm a dad now. Which is cool. I like being a dad. But man, this game is really digging into what really pushed me to become a YouTuber. Even though I never made a Halo Reach video before, this is what kind of sparked it for me. So can this game hang with modern games? Yes, absolutely. Disregarding my biased nature right now and how much this game actually means to me, it most definitely can hang for a number of reasons. Number one, we live in a world where first-person shooter games and just mini games in general have become progressively chaotic. And it's okay to have chaos. Chaos is fun, man. But at some level, a lot of these games with this level of chaos, you lose out on balance. And I know a lot of people say balance is boring. To some extent, yes. But Halo was pretty balanced, man. And it entertained me for years. So there is a way to do it without even any major incentive. I know in Destiny, we're always jumping up and hitting our chests and yelling loot. But Halo was truly a game that it just kind of just brought that arcade side out of you, you know? I know some people probably took it super seriously. For me, I never really took it that serious. I just simply enjoyed gaming. I enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed doing the same thing match after match and honing my skills. And those basic core skills are still present in many other FPS games today, but there's so many ways you can just break that mold by maybe just utilizing something that's more broken, right? You got a weapon that's obviously meta. You don't necessarily have to adhere to these rule sets to make some plays. And again, a lot of people like that. And for years, I've been a fan of that. And I still am. But man, is it nice to actually play a first-person shooter where in every engagement, if I die, I know why. And afterwards, I have a way to counter it. I log it in my brain. I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have stepped out there. There was going going to be a grenade bounce up against that wall. He had the perfect angle on me, and he got me. And there's so many various encounters just like that, with multiple weapons spanning across Halo Reach, that you just figure out ways to counter it. I don't know if there's been many times I've walked away from any duel inside of Halo Reach pissed off, thinking to myself, there's no way I could have countered that. And that's kind of what sparks some of the heat inside of some of these other FPS games, is because there's some situations you run into. I know specifically in Destiny, if you're playing up against two guys with mountaintop and they both mountaintop you, you think to yourself, what could I do? I've got two mountaintops coming toward me. It's a difficult thing to realize that there's really no counter to certain things, and that really breeds frustration. Halo Reach is a breath of fresh air for me, just simply because it's condensed everything on the playing field to the point that I almost look at it as rock, paper, scissors, man. And that's what Halo is, in a nutshell. It's rock, paper, scissors in first-person shooter form. And I know this is going to bring out the debate of like the holy trinity inside of something like MMORPGs. That's not what I'm getting at. All I'm trying to get at is every engagement, I have just things just logging itself inside of my head, and I know why I lose those engagements. And it's refreshing to have that experience other than just throwing your hands up and saying, I don't know how to counter that. There's no possible way to counter that. I'm done. So given the balanced nature of Halo in general, let's just talk about the ecosystem of Halo. How many people are actually playing this game? Well, on launch, it was pretty wild. Halo Reach brought in a lot of new players, a lot of returning people that just tried the game out again. A lot of guys like me that have moved on from maybe Xbox. I'm pretty sure one of those days they like passed up PUBG. It was doing good. Even passed up Destiny 2 for a bit. It has since kind of sunk off a bit. Like currently right now, we're sitting at like a whopping, I think 25,000 people playing, at least here on Steam, which is not a bad number, but a lot of those guys that are going to be playing and will continue to keep playing Halo Reach, or I would say people like myself, you're more dedicated, hardcore Halo fans. And even though I don't play Halo as much as I used to back in the day, my roots are Halo, which is why when I got some downtime, if I just want to play a quick game, now I normally just boot up Halo Reach. So the ecosystem isn't bad. I definitely did not go into this looking at Halo Reach to set some world records. Again, guys, it's an old game, man. It's like almost 10 years old. This thing is ancient, and you'll realize that when you're moving around. Like, I love Halo Reach, and it's got a balanced nature to it, but when you're moving around and stuff, the fact that you can't crouch while you're sprinting, you know, there's no sliding. I know most core Halo fans are like, yes, we love that, but there's a lot of people that have been playing other games now for years. They love that level of mobility, and they've honed their skills so that they want to utilize those skill sets in all of the games that they play. Halo Reach, on some levels, is still stuck in 2010, 2011 for good and bad reasons. For me, it's my cup of tea. For other people, not exactly. And I think if you're a guy that has never tried Halo, I had a couple friends that never played Halo before. They tried it out this past week. It didn't jive with them. They felt it was too ancient, too slow. They also didn't like Bloom on DMRs. But I highly doubt 343 was looking to remaster or revamp Halo Reach in any kind of way. This is obviously a stepping stone, and I haven't really been keeping up with all the Halo news, but this is obviously a stepping stone to just bump up some hype for Halo Infinite whenever that's supposed to be. I guess, was that next Christmas? Christmas 2020? This is also probably 343's way of just dabbling with PC settings, which now takes us to the optimization of the game. Now, I've played some well-optimized games, man, where I'm like cranking out 300 plus frames. I don't know what it is. I still, to this day, think Overwatch is one of the most optimized games out there. Somebody with a little more technical savvy to them, let me know why that is. Is it the servers? Destiny 2, on the other hand, my lord, dude. Sometimes, you know, you'll be hitting almost 200 FPS, and then other times it'll just drop down to 80, 90 randomly in the middle of a Crucible game. Don't really understand Destiny 2 and its optimization. Some people say it's well optimized. For my system, I run like a 1080 Ti with like an i9 7980XE. I got a pretty decent system, and I am overclocking, and I stay around 160 FPS inside of Destiny 2. Reach, day one, I went in there and actually clicked everything over to unlimited frames, turned VSync off like normal, and then began the stutters. Yes, the game was stuttering pretty bad. So much so that I actually had to cap my frames at 60 FPS for the majority of this gameplay. Now, I actually ended up downloading, NVIDIA and Inspector. I capped my frame rate at 2 frames below my refresh rate, so for me right now, that would be like 238 FPS. What I think is happening here is the game seems to be optimized all right, but the fluctuation between G-Sync or FreeSync cutting on and off, because again, once you exceed the refresh rate of your monitor, it seems to really jank things up and cause those stutters. And as the game itself, at least application-wise, doesn't have a frame limiter, you're going to have to download something like Inspector. I know there's other programs out there to limit your FPS. I know, kind of annoying, but this seemed to fix my issue. But even still, staying between 60 FPS and 238, I was still having stutters. Like every now and then, it would just spike and drop for no reason. So the game could have been optimized a little better. And I know a lot of other, like I think Halo YouTubers spoke very highly of its optimization currently, which tells me it must have been pretty bad previously whenever they had like the betas or the alphas or whatever. I never got in on that, but I heard those were terrible optimization. And they're saying that currently where Halo Reach is now is perfect. I wouldn't say it's perfect. I'd say it's decent. And I'm comparing this to a number of other games that are optimized very, very well. So we talked about optimization, ecosystem. Let's talk about the final subject now. That's probably the most important, and that is longevity. How long will Halo Reach players continue to play this game? Well, they've kind of imported the same things that they had on the original Halo Reach game. All the cosmetic items, the thunder clouds, the poison clouds, a lot of cool stuff there. I was kind of bummed out. I know this is on PC, so it's like a new thing. Kind of wished all my stuff from way back in the day transferred, because this stuff actually takes a while to unlock. So in terms of cosmetics, yes, there's quite a few things to go for. Now, will all those players try to get these things? I don't know. Again, Halo Reach, it's living high on nostalgia right now, but I don't know how long that high can last. I've enjoyed my time playing this game, and the way I'm going to look at Halo Reach is when my buddies want to get together and play some big team battle, hop in a Warthog, and get crazy and nasty. This is a perfect game. It's stress-free for the most part. My friends don't ever feel like they have to catch up. You know, if I get a friend to just jump into Destiny 2 with me, it's like, okay, what weapons do you have? Oh, we got to go get you a last word, a thorn. Let's grind you a mind benders. There's a lot of work put into that, right? Whereas Halo, you can just jump in, man. So I think 343's intentions was for Halo Reach to be one of the first stepping stones to Halo Infinite. And I'm sure they're going to continue doing stuff throughout the year. I haven't looked at the roadmaps or anything, but I'm almost certain we'll continue to see improvements on this game, as well as other iterations that will eventually push us toward Halo Infinite. For me personally, Reach is a fun game. It's every bit worth $9. What did this thing cost me? Was it $9.99? So essentially $10 to jump on there and go back in time. And then of course, I think you can buy the whole Master Chief collection for $40. But $10, guys, for a game that's easy to access, easy for you and your friends to get on together with, stress-free, always a fun time, has custom games, has Forge, has Infection, has all the old playlists. I think that's what makes Reach special, because when I think back on it, about my fondest memory of this game, I don't necessarily remember the time that I hit this crazy shot or I went off on a team. Instead, I remember the time when me and two buddies were in a Warthog trying to jack a flag, and my friend jumps out of the passenger seat and I'm on the back holding the line, and my friend asked the question, where's the flag? And he continued asking the question, and players closed in all around us. We were surrounded, boys, and frantically my friend asked one more time, where's the flag? And at that moment, a Spartan laser ripped us a new one, and we all died. Now, to this day, we always bring that up. We always bring up where that flag is, man. Because that flag was not there. Don't know what the hell happened. I was busy shooting people. I don't even know. My friend was driving. He was just trying to dodge bullets. But my one friend that was just supposed to pick the flag up and get back in the passenger seat was bamboozled by no flag being there. And maybe there wasn't a flag there. Regardless, the events we remember the most, at least for me, were those encounters with my friends. Halo Reach and Halo games just in general brings out the best in them. So guys, that is our review on Halo. We didn't touch upon the campaign. Campaign's always good. The only reason why I didn't touch upon the campaign is my audio is still bugged inside the campaign. I have no idea what's going on. It's not unplayable, it's just not as enjoyable. It's not as immersive. Like the dialogue in Halo Reach, it's not bad, but when it's amped to 10 and everything else is dialed down, you kind of notice some of the imperfections, which kind of ruined the immersion for me, right? This was a campaign that I was in love with. I played this campaign so many times. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I made her play this campaign with me. That was like the ultimate test. Can you play this campaign with me? And she did. She played it. She didn't like it as much as me. I'm over there crying in the final mission. And it was like the 100th time I've played that mission. Campaign's still the campaign though. Nothing's really changed there. I'm probably gonna replay it eventually when whatever audio bugs get fixed. Overall, guys, Halo Reach has been a fun game. A game in which I'll be able to extend to my friends this Christmas and reconnect with old squads that still can't find the flag. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.